Hey guys, and welcome back to DQ Tarot and to your Pisces new moon reading for all the signs. We're going to go from Aries all the way through Pisces, and we're going to pull one card for each sign. It's going to be a really lovely new moon. Pisces and Virgo placements, especially big placements of Pisces and Virgo, you guys will be feeling it the most intensely. I do think that this new moon is going to give us a really great time to honestly just kind of chill out, to take a step back, to maybe find some more enjoyment in creative things, to allow creative ideas and paths to kind of open up to us. It's going to be a really nice clearing out of the old and kind of chilling out and allowing especially our emotions, our energy to relax. So we're going to get into this here. We're going to use the Wildwood Tarot. If you guys haven't, do check out the monthlies, the monthly love readings, the dailies, and the pick a card that I did, guys. Check out what is our connection if you're curious about your connection. And do make sure to subscribe if you haven't. Let's get into this Pisces new moon read here. Let's start with Aries. Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. What is this new moon in Pisces bringing up? Ooh, and in for you guys, too many. Actually, well, no, I'm not going to take it. Too many cards. They're both face down. I don't do that if it doesn't feel right to me. Aries, what is coming up for you guys in this Pisces new moon? I want to pull this one. Ooh, the Guardian. Interesting. I kind of got it reversed, but I don't think we're going to do any reversals just because we're pulling one card here. The Guardian. Interesting. I believe that this is actually the Devil card here in the deck. Forgive me if I'm wrong because this is a newer deck for me, but it's a really interesting card here. It really has to, I think it does have to do with the devil. I'm pretty positive it does, but it has you really asking if you've learned to rationalize in terms of fight or flight, your darkest fears. It's like all these things are what they're coming up here, and the devil or the Guardian here really brings all of that up. Okay, there's a lot of this manipulation kind of energy here, but it feels almost like you've manipulated yourself in this situation. We haven't been able to see what really ties us to what's really going on. It's just kind of saying, there's an inhuman quality that fears off of fear, panic, with malevolent joy within you here. And it could just be that, we've kind of gotten to a point where we have hit some challenges here. And this situation is a lot more complex and has maybe some profound implications on our life. It feels like maybe it has to do with security, finances, all that kind of stuff here. It does feel like there's a lot of, it just feels like you kind of are stuck maybe in a labyrinth and you see what's behind him. It kind of reminds me, I don't know why, of Pan's Labyrinth and being stuck in a labyrinth of a situation, whether it's within your own mind or some, outer predicament here. This talks about things, fears especially that have been hidden, repressed, and that, when a situation has been really left to become extremely unhealthy, just decay to a certain level here. It's really asking you, when the devil shows up, it's time to control your fears. It's time to take this insecurity and face it with courage head on, face it with integrity. Be really aware of however difficult the situation is, but the only way you can really get through it is to be stronger, to be resilient, and to understand something here, to really look at the trickster in your own life, to really look at, what this experience has taught you and how you can fully break free of it, and, why we allow it to control us. So Aries, this is kind of your focus here. I know it's maybe not the best focus, but the devil does bring to light these areas, and it kind of has you maybe more relaxedly looking at, wow, maybe I'm tied up in these things and in my head and in this whole situation that is a lot more complex, or I'm making a lot more complex than it really should feel in my life here. So let's go move on now to Taurus. Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Taurus, what is coming up and in for you for this new moon in Pisces? All falls face down so I don't take it. All right. Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. I want to use this one. Ooh, I like this actually. Four of Bows. Thank God. Even though my Taurus ass ain't been feeling like this lately. The Four of Bows is the card of celebration. It's like the Four of Wands in most decks here. And it really doesn't change too much, honestly, because it's very, very positive. It's, celebratory. It's people getting together. It's literally called celebration. So we could be even feeling that our focus, our efforts, that whatever energy we've dedicated towards a goal, because the Four of Wands is kind of a dream goal for me, you know, that place we've been wanting to get to, that home, that, you know, that lifestyle, that money, whatever it is. And it feels to me that, you know, we've had to put a lot of patience, a lot of practice, a lot of time for this. And we haven't had a lot of time to relax and really enjoy something. So this is kind of saying to celebrate, to really feel the value of an earned reward, to feel the pleasure, the friendship, you know, whatever this situation is. You could even be having parties this weekend or getting together with people that you really appreciate. Find the ability to appreciate where you are. Or again, this could be signifying, you know, or heralding, you know, this new chapter here where we're celebrating something really great here, to really, like, you know, something really beautiful, something that we feel, you know, wow, I can indulge and then I can share with others and I can really celebrate, I can be happy. There's something that is getting me to this Four of Wands that I deserve to celebrate. So it does feel like, you know, there's a lot of really wonderful things to celebrate in terms of our wealth, our health, our security, and you know, any type of bounty in our life here. It does feel like we could be celebrating some big moves there, or, you know, getting to a place where, you know, I know where it is I want to be and I'm going to focus on that now moving forward, but I'm not going to worry about it. Let's go on to Gemini sun, moon, rising, and Venus. And do be sure to check out your monthlies, guys. Those are for love and general for all the signs. Gemini. Ooh, Gemini, 10 of arrows. Okay, so this is, again, going to bring up, like I said in the very beginning here, this Pisces new moon really has you being like, okay, where do you need to relax? Where do you really need to chill out? Because 10 of Wands says you've been, you know, carrying a lot of brunt, a lot of burden, maybe even, again, learning new things, instruction, carrying the burden of teaching somebody. If you're a parent, you could feel like, you know, you've been teaching your kid a lot lately, or, you know, been you know, putting a lot of effort and time in there, and it's a lot of work. There's a lot of responsibilities to be had when the 10 of arrows shows up. The 10 of arrows, I'm sorry, the 10 of arrows would actually be 10 of swords, not 10 of wands in this deck. So I apologize, guys. My fault. I'm still getting used to it in that kind of way of arrows are not what we think they are. Arrows are actually swords, okay? So, what do I want to feel about this then? I don't know. I do feel like it's still a lot of effort, but there is to the time, maybe even in parents, that we say goodbye to something, and that could be kind of a painful ending. Even though you've been instructing them, teaching them to a certain point, it gets to that level where you have to move on from something. You have to say goodbye to one chapter and leave it behind. You've learned your lessons. I mean, swords are about air, about mental energy here. So the first, you know, gifts that we get are parenting, our instruction, and I do feel that there's instruction and, you know, there's patience here that you've been maybe even taught in a situation. You could be wondering, what has this situation taught me? Maybe we've been through some painful endings because, again, this is 10 of arrows, even though it doesn't look bad, is the 10 of swords. We could be very exhausted at the end of a long battle, have dealt with some hardships, people stabbing us in the back, people doing this, doing that. But what you need to remember is what you've learned through this. Because this isn't a really negative 10 of arrows or 10 of swords here. This is more positive. It says, you know, you've learned something here. There's, you know, whether you want to believe it or not, this situation has instructed you, has prepared you for the next steps, has prepared you for the next level. And that's really important to remember here. So let's now move on to Cancer. Cancer, sun, moon, rising, and Venus. Cancer, sun, moon, rising. Oh, it came right out for you. We're going to take it, actually. 5 of Vestals, ecstasy, which is normally the 5 of Cups. And this does not really feel like a 5 of Cups, right? This deck is very different. I like it. Ecstasy. So there's a lot of focus on, you know, what makes you happy. What is this healthy time to surrender to joy? What is a healthy time to surrender to a renewed life force by really bathing in this ecstasy? Kind of, I mean, and especially in a new moon, we kind of see her doing a type of little ritual here. It's like a drum. I don't know what she's doing. She's got a pentacle, or, you know, a 5-pointed star in the ground with cups at each one. And she's really kind of raising her energy in terms of ecstasy. So there's a lot of personal connection in terms of, you know, the emotional self, you know, what makes you feel good, like creativity, music, dance, because she is dancing and she is playing music. So it's saying to really maybe even do the things that you enjoy, especially creatively, especially in your heart, your soul. What makes you sing with joy? What makes you feel ecstasy? It's focusing on that rather than what you feel you have lost. As you can see in this 5 of Cups, there are no cups down. She's just really in a delight in ecstasy and this really wonderful dance of exuberance. I don't know. She's just doing her thing here and having a good time. and especially for Pisces season, this is, and being a water sign yourself, this is very much focused on that creative, poetic type of energy. How can you bring poetry in through, your creative experiences, especially if you're an artist, a writer, a musician? How can you enjoy this moment more fully? What can you focus on that brings actual joy and pushes you through whatever kind of emotional negative stuff you've been going through? It's time to focus on the ecstasy. All right. So let's move on now to Leo. Leo, sun, moon, rising, and Venus. What is coming up for you guys in this Pisces new moon? Leo babies. Oh my God, Leo. Can you guys like... We have too many cards going. They all went out here, there, everywhere. Too many. One at a time, Leo. One card for what is coming up and in at this time. Ooh, okay. I like this though. Three of Arrows reversed. Jealousy. Three of Arrows in this deck is quite a bloody, nasty, interesting one, right? It's not like a soft one like we do see in some other in some other decks. It's very harsh. And when you get the Three of Arrows, obviously let's look at it just upright actually, because we're not really looking at reversals. I almost forgot that for a second, but we're going to have to look at it both ways, guys. Even though I would like to just look at it reversed, it's time to really focus on who has hurt us, why it has hurt us, and what it has really left us with. It's time to really recognize where we have arrows in our heart and who has put them there. And maybe what it brings up in us. And for some of you, again, it brings up that jealousy feeling as well. So, if you have been feeling jealous, and you have to really realize that, these feelings of jealousy are born of a broken heart, a broken dream, a broken system here. There's need to surrender to these feelings, yet also not get too wrapped up in, the jealousy and the link there, the emotional link there. But especially in terms of, making yourself the victim in this situation. Yeah, somebody might have literally stabbed you in the heart 3 times, set your heart on fire, really messed with you here. But it's time to start to move on here. It's time to mature. It's time to not play the game that they have played, to not do this to somebody else. It's time to accept, forgive, and even in the face, again, of bitter rivalry, bitter anger, bitter pain here, we need to refocus our energy into more positive, creative place here. Momentum towards the better life for yourself, a better life of healing. And to, again, heal the effects of this jealousy, of this pain, of whatever somebody has put in your heart. And to really recognize, what these feelings, again, whether they be jealousy, a broken heart, or somewhere in between, something that one of them that leads to the other here, what has happened and how you need to move on from it. Because the Three of Swords, yeah, it hurts for a second, but you can pull those swords right out and move to the Four of Swords and take a dang nap. Okay, so let's move on now to Virgo. Virgo, sun, moon, rising, and Venus. For the new moon in Pisces, Virgos. And this is your opposite sign, so you guys are going to be feeling this very intensely. Wow, what a card to get. The Forest Lovers. I really love this card. It shows Robin and Marion of the Wood. Robin, you can call him Robin Hood, Marion of the, what is it, Maiden Marion? Forgive me, I don't know all these things, but it does show them both here, Robin and Marion, the Forest Lovers, that return time and time again in different stories. And again, they're supposed to return throughout the ages here to come together here. The Forest Lovers create a spark that generates, this third life force, 2 people coming together. They're tied on this tree. They are truly tied together here. It's just really, really beautiful. It's like they create these lilies around them, this new life force that brings life, fruitfulness, harmony. It's just really beautiful. It's like, to truly love, we must be truly whole. And so here it could be that instead of, it might not have anything to do with falling in love with somebody, meeting somebody, but it could be that you need to reconcile the divine masculine and feminine aspects of yourself. If we dip too much into the masculine energies, working too hard, being this person, doing that, whether you're male or female or non-gender, you still need the feminine energies. You still need a balance of masculine and feminine within your energy here. Divine masculine and feminine. So getting more into the emotional, creative, getting more in touch with your feelings rather than pushing through on that more fire and air-based level. It's time to look at more the earth, water types of things, or vice versa. Okay, we must be able to accept every aspect of our individual personalities here, and accepting the wholeness in another person if that's the case as well. For me, this feels like there's a really beautiful ebb and flow here, a real great balance, and also possibly for some of you, choices in love are coming together that is bringing harmony, balance, in this really amazing and emotionally committed way in terms of a relationship. But the Forest Lovers also says what brings you happiness and what is the balance to your energy. If you don't have that right now, it's time to make the choice and to recognize where you need to bring in that other aspect of self, that to make that decision to go for whatever it is that you set out to do, to illuminate the darker corners of your world and to really support yourself, or find, have, a choice here that comes in that supports you to get to wherever it is that you're going, to whatever it is that you set out to do, bringing the light of love to something that is very important to you. Woo, big stuff there, Virgos, of course. I can't wait to see what Pisces messages are. Let's go on now to Libra. Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. What does this new moon in Pisces bring up for you guys, Libras? Ooh, okay. Six of Stones, exploitation. This is not what I expected from the Six of Stones. I actually haven't seen this one yet, which is like the Six of Pentacles. Six of Stones usually talks about balances, as sixes for me are always the indication from your higher self that you're on the right path forward here. It's kind of interesting to see it this way, exploitation. There is, an old man and a girl here with all these, it looks like abandoned beehives. They're holding empty bowls. There's a bunch of broken tools over here. What's going on here? There's smoke rising. It feels like something bad is happening here. This looks like a scene from like Lord of the Rings when the orcs are burning all the towns or something. It feels like there's foolish overuse of maybe non-sustainable resources here. So maybe in terms of work, in terms of business, you could be damaging yourself or the environment around you here. It's time to be really aware of what the price that you're going to have to pay. Because again, this is the lower echo of the of your card, actually, of justice, is what the Six of Stones is. It's the lower echo of your card. So it talks about injustice and also needing to take responsibility for what we have done here. So maybe we have been damaging ourselves by ignoring some problems, by trying to use things that are no longer usable, by trying to gain something from something that is no longer willing to give to us. We can't keep taking and taking and taking from something, or giving and giving and giving to something to the point where we are being exploited or have been exploiting the system here. The universe will not work in that kind of law of balance here. So it's time to really look at, the truth of a situation, to really look at the integrity, our own integrity, and how much it has been damaged in this situation. This is an interesting Six of Stones because it's not really that positive, if I'm being honest. It feels like you need to be very aware of where you have been exploited, or energy that you have exploited. Whether it's your job, whether it's a relationship, whether it's something, it seems like you have been giving to something, or taking from something that has nothing left to give, whether that's you or the other person. This situation is quickly crumbling here, and exploitation is going to be thrown in your face about a situation. You really have to look at whether or not something, somebody, a job, a relationship, a person, a friendship, or maybe a lot of these things are exploiting you or not. Whether they keep showing up here with these empty bowls but aren't willing to put in any effort in terms of finding their own path forward here, to relying on themselves, being responsible. However, if you are in relationships or money that keep getting that way, you need to really realize where you've been exploited here, okay? All right, Libras, those are your messages. Let's go on to Scorpio. Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Ooh, Scorpio, you get a really powerful card here, the Archer. For when the Archer shows up, I do think it has actually supposed to have a lot to do with strength, even though strength is 8. I don't know. The cards in this are very different. So I can't really say one is supposed to be one card or not, because it's just not. It's supposed to be, I think, somewhere in between temperance and strength, or I don't know what, but it's amazing. And I really do like this because the Archer says, this is the dawn of a new adventure. You have a web of universal potentials here. Where will you aim your arrow? Aim it with thought. Really pay attention to, what you want to achieve, how you're going to go about it. You need to take careful stock here, and by really harnessing your potential, knowing that you do have potential, that you do have talents, that you do have the knowledge, and whatever other abilities that you possess before you shoot. It's like you need to take all stock of all these things, really plan, really again, harness your potential here before you set it off. So take a deep breath and let your soul take flight here in terms of wherever direction you shoot it. But you have to really take stock of what's being offered to you at this time and whether or not it is the correct path forward. You have to really sit down, think, plan, and really take stock of not only that, but who you are in all of this. And, you know, with your talents, with your knowledge, with, you know, any other types of things you possess here, how are you going to make this happen? So this is kind of a moment of where you're going to shoot this arrow. Pull it back, don't rush into it, but think about it. I love this card. I love the Irish Wolfhounds. They're my favorite animal, or like my favorite dog, really. All right, Scorpio, those are your messages. Let's move on to Sagittarius. Sagittarius for this new moon in Pisces. Sagittarius. Sun, moon, rising, and Venus. Ooh, okay, too many cards out. We don't take them that way. Sagittarius. Ooh, Sagittarius, you're at the 9 of Arrows. I gotta be honest, 9 of Arrows is not a happy place to be. Dedication. This woman needs to start dedicating where her arrows are shooting. That 9 of Arrows is like the 9 of Swords. It puts you in that mental state of where are you driving these thoughts? And really, where are they going? She's not even, you know, doing this right. She's literally shooting her arrows backwards. And what is that going to do for her? Nothing. It does nothing because you're so focused on maybe what has happened in the past, on the past path behind you, that you keep shooting arrows in that direction instead of forward. So it's time to start focusing on the path ahead, on where you do want to go and what you do want to accomplish here, because that's really what's important. And if you're going to get stuck in this place where, you know, you're going to dedicate all your energy to, you know, to negativity, to getting stuck in your head, to getting lost, to this very negative, this bad place here, it's like, you need to keep dedicating your skills here to the greater good instead of just shooting them into random trees here. You know, you need to dedicate yourself to something with sincerity, with self-discipline, with hard work, and with getting yourself out of a negative mental space that keeps telling you, let's just keep shooting these negative thoughts here, there, everywhere, but they're not going to take you anywhere. You're expending your energy and expending your talents to no gain for yourself here. So dedicate your energy towards something and really recognize when you're putting out energy or you're even expending mental energy that's just driving you in all these circles and isn't getting you where you want to go at all. Dedicate yourself to a better place. All right, let's move on now to Capricorn. Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Capricorn, what does this new moon in Pisces bring up for you, Capricorns? I really want to pull this one out. Ooh, okay. This is an amazing card to get. It's the Seer, okay? The Seer. That's kind of like the High Priestess type energy here, okay? If that helps you, try to figure it out. She is more about, you know, focusing your power, letting it flow through you. You know, this is the oracle mediator of the feminine intuitive, the imaginative principle here. But her meditation is really based on her more grounded energy and more grounded skills. You can see there's all these roots behind her. She's got feathers, animal, you know, feathers on her and stuff going on. She's got, you know, this giant stone with little, you know, carvings and stuff on it. So again, she's very grounded despite having her eyes closed and being attached to the other world here. It's time to really foster your positive exercise of your will here. It's time to manifest with your emotion and commitment, because it will result in a different outer world here, real life material effect. It's like a very pure form of earth and magic is what I always feel from her here. It's again saying, you know, it's time to focus your dreams, your desires, to the creative and emotional process. Okay. It's really time to give energy to, or, you know, to give more thought to those hidden and suppressed longings. It talks about healing. It talks about going deep here. Again, it's like the seer is like the high priestess. She has to go within and see, and it's not a rush process. She's working through mysteries. She's seeing things in a different and more spiritual way. She creates these impulses that kind of come out of this deep, more spiritual deep dive here, okay? She provides the esoteric insights and brings up from these depths these creative impulses, you know, art, possibly other skills, crafts, you know, anything that brings pleasure and joy to your life. So it's saying, what do you want to create and what are you feeling right now? Bring this out, you know, manifest it into the real world here. Bring it into your practical and physical life here, and it will bring about rewards, will bring about profits, will bring about more. But you have to be able to look deep at, you know, what's pushing at you, what do you want to create, and what are you willing to do with, you know, what's pulsing through you, what's trying to come through you right now. All right, Capricorn, those are your messages. Let's move on now to Aquarius. Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. What is coming up for you guys in this new moon in Pisces, Aquarians? Ooh. Oh, you guys also get the 10 of Arrows instruction. I forgot which other sign got that now. The 10 of Arrows is a lot like the 10 of Swords. And it talks about, you know, yes, we have probably been through a lot here. We may have been through some backstabbing, some real difficult times, and it's probably asked a lot of us. Because the 10 of Arrows almost feels like somewhere in between the 10 of Wands and 10 of Swords to me. And it doesn't seem that negative, because what you need to remember in this situation at this end, at this pinnacle where you're like, oh my God, how much more can I take? How many more times am I going to get stabbed in the back? You know, why did this person hurt me? Why did this happen? You had to learn from it. Instruction. You know, whether this hurts you or not, you know, and as a parent, you know, teaching a child and then sending them off into the world, that's a painful experience, a painful ending for them. And so with this situation, this has come in, your higher self has come in and allowed this situation to happen. It's part of your path here so that you could learn something. So you could learn to shoot your arrow farther, higher, whatever it is in the future. So you could learn from this experience how to see the red flags again, how to know when something isn't going to be right, how to know when somebody might be trying to hurt you. This really has you paying attention to these things and really has you understanding, you know, wow, okay, this is something I need to know here. This is something I needed to learn whether I wanted to or not, you know. You might lose the gifts if you get too caught up in the emotions, if you get too caught up in, you know, you get too caught up in the pain of it and what has happened to you. You lose sight of the instruction. You lose sight of the lessons. So pay attention to that, Aquarius. You've been through some difficult times, but you're coming on the end of them, but you have to be focusing on what you have learned, okay? On where you can now take this for the future. All right, Pisces. Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Pisces, what is coming up in your new moon, Pisces? It's your new moon, your season. Energy's all sorts of Piscean right now, so what's going on for you in your new moon here? Ooh, you guys get the Green Man. I love this card. This is kind of like the Emperor, but the male counterpart to the Green Woman, which is a very creative card. You know, where are you going to take your energy here? It's, you know, this creative, fertile energy. You know, what do we want to do with it? It's very vigilant, very intense. It feels like, you know, he's going to create something. He even looks very intense. He gazes with this challenging, you know, like I'm ready to take on this challenge. He has, you know, the typical symbolism here. He also has, you know, his eagle. He's got this giant horn here and this bubbling cauldron, much like the Green Woman's. But it's really time for giving and receiving the natural flow of life. Again, inwardly, outwardly. Being prepared to really find new and thriving drive. Because the Emperor is like, where are you going to take authority? Where are you going to take your power? Let's start a new project. Let's really do something big here. And it's like you have the energy. You have this thriving, powerful, you know, palpable energy right now to create something new. And it's almost in the more, again, masculine, you know, feelings of, instead of the more feminine where you get the Green Woman or more feminine cards. This is more like, let's take power. Let's show the world what I got. Let's do something amazing here. You know what I mean? It's, you know, let's try to find new ways of living your life to the most fulfilling degree, to finding your fulfilling path here. What's really going to make me happy? This is a time that, you know, your experience is at the apex of the cycle of life, okay? The king and the land are one in this. So you can really create the life that you want. I mean, it is your season. It's your new moon. We got a lot of planets in your sign. So, actually, let's pull one more for you. And, of course, we get your card out next. The Moon on the Water. And of course you would, for a new moon in your sign, get the Moon on the Water. Things that might seem a little bit strange. You know, again, remember that there are shadows. Remember that you can't always tell, especially when Mercury is retrograde in your sign, things are going to seem iffy, weird, and all this stuff. It's a time of inner transformation, initiation of awareness here, okay? It could even be that, you know, things that seem pretty random, pretty weird, pretty like strange, and being like, why are these emotions coming up? Why are these weird things coming up? They have deeper meaning and you might not be able to figure it out yet. So take what take power over what you can, and, you know, recognize that, yes, we might not be able to divine the whole way through right now because it is retrograde and we can't do everything. that we can take authority in what we do, what we are able to take, the creative process, to take our path, let's try to find the most fulfilling path forward. Yes, these things will work themselves out, even if I don't really get it right now. It's, rational fears of things that, are coming up here, the seeing the shadow side of not just yourself, but of other people, of situations. So, it's really, I don't know, there's a lot of wrestling with the concept of, consciousness is not just within you, but you are within consciousness of the universe here as well. It's really asks you again to express, any type of hidden desires through honesty, through, stating it, any type of hidden stuff here. It says, bring this out into the open, really confront it, take control of it, and create something new with it, okay? This is a really time, again, of transformation, of creating the life that you want. And, recognize that we do have a shadow side, but that we can conquer it, and that we can do something with this, that we actually do have control over this, and we don't have to let those aspects of ourselves control us. And also, when your card shows up upright in any reading, it's a sign to me that you're on the right path, but you're in a really great state of mind to trust yourself, to trust your intuition, and to not question things too much at this time. Again, remember that this is a new moon to chill out and to get yourself into a position to start creating the life that you want, okay? All right, so those are all the messages that I got for this new moon in Pisces. If you guys enjoyed it, do leave me a comment, do share, do definitely subscribe, guys. Check out your monthlies for love in general. Also, a couple of quick important announcements here. If you do want to book a private reading, I am not accepting or doing like pretty much any private readings for most of March. I'll let you know when I do open that up again. But if you want to book a reading before March now, because it is getting to be the end of February, please email me first. I will be getting surgery in early March, and I will not be able to do pretty much anything for quite a while. So I would like to make sure that I have time before I schedule and take your payment for a reading. So please email me if you want to book one. All the info is below. And we are actually trying to move ourselves over to Colorado. So if you guys have any tips, if you're from Colorado, you have any leads, anything like that, we are looking for a way to get there as soon as possible. We're looking for jobs there. We're looking for homes. We're looking for leads on any of that stuff, for the creative fields, music fields, etc. And if you guys are from there, if you have anything to say about that, definitely let me know. DM me, hit me up in the comments, email me. I would love to know, because at this point, it's like whatever can help is great. So anyways, thank you guys so much again for all of your support. Wishing you nothing but the best, and have a wonderful and blessed new moon in Pisces, guys. Namaste.